There is almost always the same background for different life crises at any age. It is misalignment of reality and our personal interpretation of goings-on. Try to remember when you ended up in completely new and unknown environment. For example, after graduation from a university, you found a job according to your specialty. It's highly likely that right away you were told not to dwell on your academical knowledge and get accustomed to new circumstances as soon as possible. You probably noticed as well that there is little to nothing in your head that you could have applied being in this brand new situation. Moreover, you might have thought that everyone around was offending, humiliating you, and constantly giving impossible tasks. After a while, you started to get used to it. You eventually adapted and got a hang of it. As more time was passing, you were getting better and better, and at some point, you became able to perform your duty without breaking a sweat. It might be said that everything became so smooth that you didn't have to put your mind to it at all. Yeah, of course, most people are naive enough to think that it is a merit of their profound intelligence. In fact, we only got the gist of things around, embedded this new knowledge into our world picture, and subconsciously started to act accordingly. It is worth mentioning that this world picture consists of multiple different elements. Most of them are not perceivable by our intellect. Let's take, for instance, social interaction. It is about the ways you should look at someone, or, if that is the case, better not to look at all, or about our mental social sorting of people according to their roles in this system. There are also elements regarding formal and informal structures of your company, employer, and many other factors. After you got totally adjusted to the situation, all the fun begins. On the one hand, reality changes constantly and tends to be in advance of our knowledge about it. On the other hand, there is a basic algorithm of our psyche to keep the world picture stable. The psyche strongly dislikes to change and does its best to stay unalterable. Due to this phenomenon, a man sooner or later reaches the point where his actions do not bring corresponding results. In other words, the things don't fall into place. When this happens, what does a man usually do? On one hand, he tries to put more and more effort in order to achieve an expected result. On the other hand, a man is being eager to prove to himself that he is absolutely right. As if nothing changed, he is acting exactly the same way as he acted before. And then again, a person starts pestering people around him in order to make them agree with him. Because the opinion of surrounding people is very important to us, and if they don't share our beliefs, it might mean that we went nuts. We might talk nonsense, but if the others agree with it, then it's no longer nonsense but a quite adequate truth. The older a man is, the harder life crises that he encounters are, because the further we go, the more inconsistencies between our world picture and reality are accumulated. They show themselves in many different aspects of our life, and at some point, amount of such errors in our mind reaches the critical level. This is why there is hardly anyone who hasn't heard of the notorious middle age crisis. There might be so many problems that it seems that life literally falls to pieces. And still, a person thinks that he is the one who is absolutely right and knows how things should work. It is just the world that is degrading and veering off the correct course. The world just suddenly became unfairly hostile to him. Yeah, the position of a victim is quite attractive for our psyche, as it's very convenient to be a desperate knight against the evil, rotten, decaying world. So, what can be done here? It's impossible to tackle this issue using your mind, as it was the mind itself, our intellectual apparatus, that engendered this problem. So, trying to put your mind to it is as absurd as trying to pull yourself out of a swamp by your own hair. This is where the makeup of a psyche really matters. For a simple person, it would be not just to change the scope of activity. You are a carpenter, try being a locksmith. New tasks, new people, new surroundings. You got ins and outs, understood everything, the mercury is rising, great. The crisis is no more. In case of more complicated people, it requires more sweeping changes. Something along the lines of changing a family, moving to another city or even a country. Eventually things are shaking down gradually and the crisis melts away. But a really sophisticated man will bring with himself all his demons even to another country. The demons that will continue poison his life. There is no way you can get away from yourself. So, what to do? Your life goes down the tubes and there is no such thing as a miracle. Moreover, you're absolutely right for yourself. At this point, you have only but one option left. You have to choose. Remember me talking about quests in the introduction. So here's the first one. You have to ask yourself a question. What kind of life do I want? A right one or an interesting one? A so-called right way of living implies total accordance to your world picture and value system. It means living with total convictions that you are absolutely right, with one reservation. Your life will be a piece of crap. Choosing another option implicates living an interesting and eventful life, but people from your immediate circle will be not very fond of you. In order to be able to follow an interesting path, you will have to abandon all your past achievements, take off all feathers from your cap, and put aside all your convictions. All your past values, successes, beliefs have to be dumped without regrets. Because in a new life, this kind of stuff is worth nothing. As was previously said, the choice is yours.